Greetings and good day, YouTube and Twitch highlight watchers. How are you doing today? I myself am pretty excited to continue where we last left off in Path of Exile, Sentinel League. We are on day 2 right now, and this is a friendly reminder for all of you that are currently watching on YouTube with the highlight. For YouTube, links will be down in the description below, where you can catch me on all of my associated sites. Twitch highlight watchers, type !links, that's !links, in order to get access to all my links and streamer links, and then go from there.
Yes. Goodbye.
You can catch me whenever I go live on Twitch at 6 p.m. EST EDT.
Why are you still standing there?
Every single day.
A stranger.
Right?
The slums are east.
So, we're going to be focused on doing this. I'm also going to be discussing something that was called the Creator Clash. If you don't know, which I probably wouldn't be surprised if you by now are well aware of what's going on or what happened. Creator Clash was a charity event that took place on, what is today? May 14th. It started at 6 p.m. and it was where a bunch of creators like Michael Reeves and Ego Raptor and quite a few other individuals in question did boxing. Now, not like an exhibition match like what you saw from the disappointment that was the Logan Paul versus Merriweather fight, right? That was an exhibition match. What we saw was an officially sanctioned bout between several content creators. I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head because I'm just going through them all. And there was some battles that occurred, basically, right? You had individuals that went 3, 4, 5 rounds. A couple of fights ended on the first round, which, yeah, definitely expected some of that. It was definitely better than I felt I was going to be at the time when I first heard about it. But I did some, let me explain what I'm trying to say. I did some research, right? I looked into everything that was going on. Some of these individuals trained for, like, at least 6 months. Other people trained for a whole year for it. Just people prepared themselves for this battle. And then they went to war, right? It was a very intense 3.5 hours, basically, right? But no, how I found out about it is that I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw Mortimer, Ego Raptor's, or Aaron Hansen's wife, tweet out about we're an hour out from the main event, or not the main event, but the fights. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about, right? So I look into it, and I find out about the Creator Clash, which is the first charity boxing event with these content creators. Some of them from YouTube, some of them from Twitch, some of them doing both, so on and so forth, right? And it was worth it, because if you found out about it and purchased tickets to watch the live stream before the day of the event, what would end up happening is you would get yourself tickets for $25 or whatever, but the day of the event, the live stream tickets were $35. And I was a little bit like, oh, should I? Like, is it gonna be one of those things where it'll be worth the $35, or is it gonna be a disappointment like the Logan Paul fight was, right? And I thought about it, and I was like, you know, these people actually trained for this, right? They actually trained for this. They seem very, very prepared. And it was very exciting to actually see those fights. So I'm glad I actually dropped the money to watch the event live. I don't know exactly if I'm gonna have like a reaction type thing set up. I might do something silly and get like some clips if I can of the fights, and coincide those clips with my reaction to some of the hits. Because ooh, some of those hits were heavy and hard. Or I might just leave it to go to the Aether. I don't know. I'll think about it. Some of those fights, man, they went after each other, you know? I will say, Harley from Epic Mealtime, they called out Dr. Disrespect. So if they have another one of these and Dr. Disrespect doesn't just ignore this challenge, you might see the 2-time versus Mr. Mealtime or the Sauce Boss. It was funny when I first was watching it. Mind you, I wasn't disappointed by a single fight. Some of the fights were surprisingly quick, right? But they were understandably quick for what ended up happening. What the hell are they talking about with this mystery box bullshit? Loot boxes in my game? No. You did not put loot boxes in this shit. Tell me it ain't. Say it ain't so. Yeah, whatever. All I know is I'm basically going to be chilling for a couple of hours playing some Path of Exile, and we're going to just be going through the acts as fast as we kind of can situation. Alright. Got ourselves another level up, hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? We're going Accuracy Master. Attack speed and accuracy increase. Again, I don't know if the accuracy really matters with what skills we're utilizing. Probably does if we're thinking about it properly. Like, I think it's actually, if I'm realistic here, I think it's shortening the distance between the arrows, if that makes any sense. I don't know exactly how that works out. We definitely want high accuracy. We want some poison stuff going on. I know I don't need to be taking everybody out, but I'm kind of doing this while I can, like, go through my thoughts and stuff like that. I might even look up... I'm probably going to watch the event again. Greetings. Well, welcome back, Ronnie. Some have low and some have high accuracy? Okay. What skill am I using? I'm using Split Arrow. Well, I'm probably going to use Split Arrow as my main ability, in all honesty, because I'm really enjoying it. There might be other abilities in the future. Also, I want to F2 this. Oh shit, we're dead. Okay, we managed to avoid drowning. Awesome. Get a little tactical here. Oh god, you need to stay back, honestly. Frenzied spikes on death. I do kind of like how we can get at this angle right here and kind of avoid death. Split Arrow has average accuracy. Okay. So my question is, dude, does us increasing our accuracy also affect that? So, like, are we increasing our accuracy with our skills as well? Right? Well, we got a Vol Orb, so we can possibly utilize that if we get our stuff leveled up, our gems and whatnot. What skill did you say you were going for, or did you not say you were what your current build is? I still didn't go through Path of Building yet. I should. I know I should. I'll probably do it at some point in the future. Gotcha. Well, it's funny because I was watching the little Sentinel reveal stream that they like to do, right? And they were saying that they didn't make any changes or whatever to any of the skills or anything like that. Like, even the bugs, they left bugs in as well. So whatever worked for you in Arch Nemesis League will work for you without many changes this league, right? I will have a tendency to watch all of those live streams, like I'll restream them all. So in the future, if you ever want to chill in chat when I'm doing that, feel free, of course. Get yourself a nice set of cosmetic wings, because that's how I got those, watching that. I'm definitely liking the archery build we got going on so far, right? I definitely want a couple of, oh shit. A couple of totem builds here. Or not totem builds, but a couple of totem skills. Because I definitely use a lot of the totems that I use. Yeah, exactly. Yep, so my Cyclone build that I was working on would be just as strong in this league, right? And I'm going for a... what is it called? Evasion build. Like, that's what I'm primarily focused on, an evasion build. I do love how much more knowledge I have. And I'm probably not going to use a lot of these. Like... Also, I'm reminded about this. We're close to getting the rewards are more likely to be less common. We're getting close there. Stalker Sentinels do not empower normal rarity enemies. Not gonna really mess with that. We could get ourselves to the... I mean, we can get Pandemonium and Apex Sentinels without having those charged, I would assume. We cannot use them without having our Sentinel using device. What is it called? Our Sentinel controller. But that's not really an issue for me. As long as we can get them, I'm happy with that. So what do you think about this league so far, Ronnie? I gotta ask. Because I'm liking it. I'm liking the idea of empowering our enemies and then utilizing them to get more rewards and stuff like that. Like, I think because of this, I've gotten way more currency items than I normally would get, right? Also, I think they made a change to currency drops too, right? So instead of, like, we're getting less drops, but more of them. I think. Yeah. Yeah, that is a little bit of an issue, them not adding skills. But I think they're wanting to test a couple things and make sure of a couple things, because mind you, when I was watching the stream, the dude, the head honcho, the CEO dude or whatever of Grinding Gear Games, was basically saying how we're basically using Path of Exile as a beta or whatever he called it for Path of Exile 2 when it comes out, right? Oh man. Trying to charge everybody up. Trying to empower all my enemies. Come on. Come on. I'm pressing Q and it wasn't queuing. Two more. No, we're not going to get the last two, unfortunately. Oh well. This is definitely going to be my secondary skill for sure. The Toxic Rain. That was intense. Yeah, Toxic Rain is clearing, but not fast. I've noticed. I'm starting to notice that at the very least. Thank you for, like, reaffirming that fact, though. I always like when facts are reaffirmed, because it helps me be like, alright, this is good for clearing large groups, but it's not for speed. For the most part, it seems. You can probably make it get pretty fast. I might have jumped the gun a little bit on this one, Chief. Not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go through them. I mean, it works. I'll take it. Might not be the fastest, like you said, but sometimes I don't need fast. Might be a good... I'm trying to get in the habit of E for Toxic Rain, and then not doing that, and then just doing my split arrow shot, because that could be a good wombo combo. If I get used to that. Hey! The Vampiric dude's at 98 already. Nice. And when people play this game, they get intense with it, you know? I definitely could be playing this a little bit faster, but I just like clearing out groups. I really do. I like having a nice, chill, fun time. We're probably going to be playing this for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to, like, maybe we'll get to Act 6, or we'll get done with Part 1. I don't know exactly what we're going to do tonight, but we'll see. that was close. Good against some bosses, it looks like, or a good portion of bosses, especially if they're not chaos resistant, because I'm pretty sure that gives additional chaos damage. Is that our first card? I think it's a first card. Let's use this perk point to get ourselves the Acuity, which increases our accuracy rating and attack speed. I think I'm gonna go for... Am I using precision? I am using precision, right? Critical strike chance and higher accuracy rating. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with the precision one first. Yeah, precision, 100% mana reservation efficiency. I mean, thinking about it might be one of those things where it's like, is it really worth it? Maybe not, maybe so, I don't know. I mean, I could go for the poison. I do have 4 refund points, so worst case scenario, I could refund some stuff temporarily. But I'm probably not going to. I'm probably going to focus on what we got going on and then go from there. You know? Like, just work for the perks. I don't have to be worried about stuff right yet because we're still getting perks at a relatively quick rate. You know? Basically the same rate that we're getting experience. I want to keep portal scrolls on me. We also have a trial of ascendancy we can go through really fast. I don't know if that's our technically 4th one or 5th one. We'll find out soon enough. I know we only have 3 more to go through before we get our first ascendancy points. And then we get a little bit of a gander at what exactly we're going to be doing for our ascendant style. I know I went for Berserker for my melee warrior. A Marauder, that is. I have to look at the ascendancies and see what I feel more close to, you know what I mean? There are certain bosses that I'm thinking of off the top of my head that are going to be so much easier now that I have experience with them and I know to fight a little bit more tactically than previously. Well, the medium hybrid flask is actually kind of awesome. Evasion rating with these and an energy shield. Is that better than what I currently have? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Arrows pierce an additional target. I mean, I don't know how many targets they pierce to begin with, but that's actually kind of awesome. What skill is it? 3 additional targets. So it'll give us 4 targets it can pierce. That might be insane. Come on, open the door. Thank you. Sentinel cache. Hell yeah. I know we're increasing our damage whenever we increase our, oh, duplicated. This is why. I was like, what the hell? Can only empower rare or uniques. Oh, shit. Oh, we have a portal scroll we can utilize. Might as well. There you are. Might as well utilize it while we can. Drop some stuff off. And then go from there. What do we got for currency? We could probably make this, yeah, make this a rare. Chaos resistance, life gained on kill, stun duration on enemies, maximum life. I mean, we do have a couple of chaos orbs we could fucking go poop. Critical strike with bows, maximum life, cold resist, sure. Pierce an additional target. Let's identify you. You. Whoops. Not what I wanted to do. Fire damage, critical strike multiplier, projectile speed. Yeah, sure, why not? I need to read better. Alright, let's dive on into this portal and get back to where we were just at. Get these Apex Sentinels. Pretty pleased about the fact that my question has been answered. Basically asked and answered. Asna, you're annoying. Thank you for dying. I should probably be careful about this one. Okay, that dude is not messing about. So we're gonna do a cheeky little thing and we're gonna cheese it, right? Nice. We'll wait for this to go down because it is doing a significant amount of damage to us.
Wisdom to be tempered by the flames of the
Hello there.
Huntress, you are beatific because you answer to no one. And that's why no one will miss you. Enough of this!
Yeah, Piety running away like a little coward that she is. And then he's dead. I do like how that some of the individuals have a different dialogue based on what your class is. So like Piety called us Huntress instead of what she called us in the previous thing, which Harui Marauder, you know. Man, that's bringing back memories of the I almost said Immortal Legion. Why? Memories of Nemesis League and how it would always make like save the or try to save the necromancer for like the final combination of abilities because of how technically easy they are. Because they don't have direct attacks for the most part. Those necromancers, they have summons, right? They have a couple of physical attacks, but when you have a lot of armor, they do nothing to you. Another unique. That was a lot of experience. So I am liking the fact that those two got duplicated there.
Tolman's dead then.
Hatred? I'm probably gonna get Grace. Sniper's Mark? I think I'm gonna go for Grace first to get that upgraded.
Gravicius demands.
Right.
Clarissa will weep. It's enough. And if I knew, why are you still standing there?
Oh, miss. Oh, it's Clarissa's. She's just so Gravicius. I'm no. Don't do anything I would.
I need to give you those keys. I'm not to see you.
I walked halfway. Matamoas, I wouldn't rely on. I tried. Goodbye.
I mean, I got to. I have to. Because it's one of those habitual things that I do.
Talamoana, Exile, Hagen is in there. Grigor straddles Talakota.
Gotta make sure.
Victoria was a...
Gotta make
I can't
sure
imagine.
that everything
Stay out of the shadows.
is gone through. And heck, at some point in the future, I might literally go through all the actions to make sure that I've cleared every single dialogue option. This is a habit that I picked up from games like Mass Effect, Skyrim, exhausting all the dialogue options, because sometimes they'll give you information you didn't have access to previously, or they'll straight up give you a quest by doing that. We're going to the sewers, correct? I should probably put some of this stuff away before I actually make progress forward. That would be a good plan. We should equip Grace. We should definitely equip Grace. Okay. So, we've got a precision, which increases critical strike. Love it. That, and of course, it increases our accuracy. And evasion. Can't touch this. No. Touch this. There's a challenge completion to listen to every dialogue. Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of funny. Well, I don't really pay attention to the challenge pop-ups. I should. Ooh. 50% mana. Okay, quick question. How do we get that as fast as possible? Okay, it looks like there's no other way to get Grace. No. Defiance banner. This looks like the fastest way to get it. We'll work towards that next. Oh no, I know that. I know that. I'm actually gonna. That's what I'm working towards right now with Accuracy Master, right? Precision. Yep. That's like the next thing that I'm getting, I think, with my next perk up. I do appreciate you bringing that up, though, for sure. The sewers are pretty straightforward, so we should be able to get a couple of good precision hits off. There's another one where a skill that increases the amount of damage per individual we pierce, and the farther an arrow goes. So I kind of want to see if they work with each other. I should also press F2. Activate this. Get some rewards for taking out the sewers. Crap. We're not going to get all of them, but a good portion of them being utilized is okay with me. Actually, we are going to pop them all. Nice. We're dead? We're not dead. That was close, but yeah. Excuse you, that was rude. Need to go through and make sure we eliminate all the empowered enemies now. Get the waypoint first, of course. I know we didn't pop all of them. There we are. We've almost got the next level up. That's exciting to me. Auroral bow. 14 to 56. Could potentially get that to be better stat-wise, but I think I'm going to stick with this for a while until I find one that's just inherently better. Or we get one of the unique bows. I'm not sure what the unique bows can do. I absolutely love seeing, like, rewards to pick up when I'm off map, you know? I wonder what our evasion rating actually is right now. I'll deal with that Undercity hideout later. Hilariously enough, isn't it one of those situations where it should already technically be cleared out? There's our level up. Love to see it. Hell yeah. Near zero cost. There's a couple more places I think I need to check because I need one more bust. Yeah, I need one more bust. I gotta check this out. Oh, this is technically still associated with all that. Technically don't need to be doing this at all. Oh yeah, that's definitely a big old experience boost. Full leather. Ooh, 315 evasion rating. That's kind of tempting, honestly. Really fast. Would it be defense? Evasion rating 1073. Armor 7. Estimated physical damage reduction 2%. Estimated chance to evade tax 59% chance. 50% suppress spell damage prevention. We're at 70% cold resist. 9 fire, 36 lightning, and 6 chaos. 24% movement speed. I'm definitely gonna have to look and see what path of building things we can utilize in the future to make us do as much damage as possible. We'll get there. We'll get a couple of different skills in the future and then just go from there. This is the only other place I could think. Yep, I was about to say the only other place I could think for there to be busts. Nice voice crack there, buddy. Tarnished. .285 evasion rating. I don't know, what would be better? The full leather. Probably the full leather. Not what I wanted to do. Flex 9, physical, 14% fire resistance. I don't want something a little bit different, I think. I mean, we should be fine. It's still early on. We don't have to be too worried about things. We're not going to have a lot of physical resistance at all, realistically. We might have a gem in the future that'll give us some more armor. Maybe. It'll be really useful. I mean, it'll be really useful to us. I think that's everybody. All right. Kicking ass and taking names.
I write this now in hope that someone...
Is there a challenge for getting all the like little lore bits as well? How do I look at challenges? Quick menu. Oh, menu. Thank you. Purchase a gem from a vendor. Oh, gotta do that. Oh, that's gonna be okay. So use a bunch of stalkers. Holy shit. Okay. 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 Got it. Okay, I see why everyone talks about challenge. You got it. Appreciate the information. I think Giant Man is bigger than... No? I mean... Deal with that later. Yeah. Some challenges I'm noticing are like, okay, like the Uber bosses, that's not something I'm gonna be doing. Very added fire damage support, love to see that. Another Apex. Some of the vendor recipes I'm gonna have to probably look up. You're Chaos, aren't you? Yeah, Chaos Weaver. I saw those purple balls and I was like, oh, that's a Chaos Weaver. Oh, hey, an animal we can capture. Nice.
Love hunting. This one is captured. I will take it.
Ash boots? Oh, is that evasion boots? No, those are armor boots. Scarlet raiment. That's 162. Technically better than what we got. I'll just stick with what we got right now. We'll get our upgrades when we need our upgrades. We are also being able to take out all of these empowered enemies, so that's nice. I kind of do like the idea of running through a group of enemies and then completely obliterating them like that. That's pretty fun. Probably should just rip through the act. I want to capture the beast. I know it's not one of those things where, like, we're not getting the highest quality items for capturing these beasts, but we might be unlocking new recipes and stuff like that if we do this.
First one to look upon this capture with pride. You must well.
I'm absolutely loving the evasion because I've noticed that, like, one of the reasons we haven't been dying nearly as much as we could be when we get surrounded is because of our evasion rating, how many attacks we've just been avoiding. And I'm starting to realize that as after looking up what our evasion was previous. That was a big hit. Ooh, Trent Horde, hell yeah. The random reward drops. Trent Horde is a guaranteed random reward drop. Fortunate that it seemed that that was just like the only one that had Trent Horde, and it wasn't a group. I don't know exactly what, like, how much they adjusted them, but I'm fairly certain that magic enemies and rare enemies give more experience than they previously did. I could be completely mistaken, though. Just something I've had in a fever dream. Don't know. Get me out of that ring of death. I said, get me out of that ring of death, damn it.
Off you go, little beast! Away! That was a hunt you will not soon forget. You're welcome. Goodbye!
Alright. A little bit of chaos there, but worked out in our favor. I like the double whammy we were able to seemingly do, you know? Hit them and then explodes. That does a significant chunk of damage. A nice chunky amount of damage. One of my least favorite aspects about summertime is how dry my skin gets. If I neglect my dry skin care routine, basically, for a day even, it really shows how annoying it can be. Oh, that was already all of them? Oh boy. Empowered quite the group. That's another level. It's the first time all day so far that I've done the charge into my enemies. Yeah, we're losing mana way faster than I'm used to because we're utilizing Grace, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely helping us out, but because of the 50% mana reduction, not reduction. What's the word I'm looking for? Mana, reservation. Because of the mana reservation. We definitely also, I think, want a mana reservation ability, and we can have one. I think it's over here. Yeah, right here. Reservation Mastery. We'll focus on getting that at some point. Flask Mastery. Might need that. Supreme Ego, I don't know if that's useful or not. Damage over time Mastery. Might do a lot of damage over time Mastery. Evasion and Energy Shield. +1 to Energy Shield per 8 evasion on boots. I mean, we can get a decent amount there, it looks like. More evasion when you have an Energy Shield. Huh, okay, interesting. Cannot be blinded. Eh. This large dual socket we may end up going for, because I'm looking at it. There's a lot of abilities that do help us get more damage downfield. What was I gonna go for? Probably some of this stuff. Yeah, for the mana leech. And is this another flask? Yeah, and this is another projectile. Okay. So. 3% of life on killing a poisoned enemy. That could be really good. Plague Bearer. We need Plague Bearer? Pierce? Additional when forking? Maybe, we'll see. I think I really like the 5% of damage from hits is taken from your nearest totem's life before you. That or the 50% totem placement range. I don't know if I'm gonna... I mean, I'm using a lot of totems, that's the thing. And it is still damage, and it can be very useful. Elemental resistance is an evasion. More damage with bows. I'm going through really quickly and what I'm seeing. Can go for a little bit of attack speed, attack damage. Mark Mastery. We're probably gonna get something like that at some. Elemental. Increased effect of non-damaging ailments. Elemental damage during any flask effect and increased elemental damage with attack skills. I mean... Gain 10% of physical damage as extra damage of a random element. Increased effect, 15% to all elemental resistances, 1% of damage, Leech as energy shield. Ooh, that could be good. We don't have a lot of elemental mastery, do we? Yeah, not really. The attack speed, the poison. I mean, we might be focused on damage over time with it. There's another one up here. Enemy elemental resistance. It penetrates 10% of the resistances. Elemental damage. Elemental damage, I think. I want something like up here too because of this, I think. Chaos damage increased. For the time being, I think we're going to go for the attack speed. We might get this whole circle, but we'll see. I like definitely going through and making sure what I'm getting is what I want to get, you know? I'm very satisfied with the time of progression I have so far. Mana bond. Something about dealing lightning. Missing mana in a circular area around the targeted location as well as... Oh, it's a spell. That could be pretty awesome for a mage. I may have pressed F2 and not tagged everybody I could have tagged. That might have been a mistake on my end. Whoops. I am liking the idea that we can go for like a lot of elemental resistances and not have to worry too much about, like, we can focus on chaos damage resistance and actual flat damage increases for our stuff, right? Nice seeing the poison in effect. We have a 25% flat rate to poison, I believe. We almost died there because of the fire. The Flame Strider. Pretty awesome. I mean, severed right hand. I don't think we can go there yet. We got a lot of quests to complete, though. Yeah, Leech might actually be insane. Mana Leech might be insane for this type of build. Because the less I have to worry about spending my Mana Flask, the better off we'll be. Mind you, it's one of those situations where I'm looking at it, and there are ways we can make us not have to worry about charges on the Mana Flask, right? I mean, their shields are doing a good job. They're getting, like, pushed back ever so slightly. Got some poison going there. There's no way for me. Oh, no, there we are. Definitely seeing the poison. Loving that. Oh yeah, the bridge is blocked, and now we, yeah, definitely can't go that way. That's a satisfying feeling. That's one thing you can't get with some melee abilities. That is right there why I need Mana Leech. Damage Leech, just mana, whatever. We'll get that eventually, though. For the time being, I think I'm okay with it because we have more than enough charge up on our mana. The moment, the microsecond that we are starting to see that we're losing more than we're gaining with the Mana Flasks in charges is the moment we need to get Mana Leech, if we already don't have it, right? If we have Mana Leech and we're still experiencing that issue, well, we have a little bit more to worry about, I think, than Mana Leech not being enough, you know what I mean? The goal should always be to die only when we're, like, full on mana. If that makes any sense. We'll say I have a bunch of stuff in my inventory, so I'm gonna have to go back to the main headquarters area, basically, and deal with that at some point. What is... Oh, no, the Sentinel cache. Oh, the Apex, huh? Rallying cry to you? Gonna have to figure out how to, no, not how, figure out how to, but we're gonna have to make sure we utilize the Apex thing there. Is there a thing here? There is. We should probably make sure we try and get that waypoint before we do anything else. And I think I'm gonna have to get some of my facial moisturizer and put that on because my dry skin's really irritating me on my face. My facial dry skin is really irritating me. There it is. We'll hit this and then we'll head back to the base and go from there. We'll turn in some quests as well. Can.
The Beatles poet, could I? Stay out of the shadows. They bite.
More passive respec points, hell yeah. Got some essences there. Flasks we can worry about later. What is this? Lightning resistance, less damage, less lightning damage. I might be able to mix all three of those together, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We go back to the battlefront and perk up there. I mean, this is increasing, like, this is increasing our damage per second. Increasing attack speed is increasing our damage per second. Don't know what I'm going to do for the Poison Mastery there. Either the duration of the poison is going to be increased or the health regain. But I don't think I'm going to go for the health regain. I want something that's going to make us do more damage. Right? I might not even keep the Poison Mastery, in all honesty. Right? I might go for something completely different. The attack speed's nice, but there might be skills that are way better. Considering we have 6 refund points that I'm going to be saving until I use Path of Building. Alright, give me a few moments. Hopefully we'll be fine. We won't get water. Alright. Need poison damage over time nodes and damage over time if you go poison build. Yeah. Ash of the Star Amulet is at 9 Exalt. Ash of the Star. What is Ash of the... Is that a unique? I would assume it's a unique, right? That's a very satisfying feeling, you know? Being able to just obliterate most enemies and you don't even know where they're at. I'll try and keep that in mind. I don't know if I'm going to go for poison, right? I mean, more damage with poison. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I see why that's 9 Exalt. I wonder if it's... easier to get Exalt in this league because of Sentinel. Probably you get a couple of Sentinels with currency drops. Who knows though? I know Exalts are very rare, but I'm just spitballing. You'd make the assumption that if you can get more currency drops, you can also get more high-class currency drops, if that makes any sense. Oh, you were toxic? I'm glad I accidentally moved. I mean, even right now, it feels like I'm getting way more chaos than I was in the last league, right? Also, I feel like I'm getting more experience than in last league, right? I felt like, for the most part, I was pretty equalized with levels. Mind you, the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I'm realizing this is still technically the early game. And I was having a much more difficult time than I currently am right now, so I was losing more experience than I was gaining at some points. Like with 900 deaths, there's a lot of experience lost. I mean, no matter what, I still need to get this little click here. Critical strike chance. More elemental damage. I mean, a poison build's seeming. I'm liking the sound of it so far, you know? Want to get some more bow skills. We can get a couple of gem sockets, it looks like. That might be pretty awesome to get. Alright, I think I know how I'm gonna do this then. I do want to get the Mana Leech Mastery. I might refund these 3. The poison's nice, but I almost kinda... like, not have to do that. But it's nice to see our mana hopefully not drop down to 0, you know? That's what my goal is. Try to not use the mana flask as often as possible. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm liking that so far. Leech might be a little bit overpowered with the piercing bow, actually. Hello, Fairgraves. How's it doing?
Not interested. Will. I.
I just need to find the plum. Then we're good to go. I think I found the other 2 things and it's just the plum and then we're good to go. The nice part about this is if I plan it right, I could finish the quests, go back to base, turn in those quests, then come back to here, turn in this quest. I mean, from what I can tell, it looks like we're doing exactly what I wanted to do with the leech, which basically is going to make us, or allow us to do more damage, because we have to focus less on recovering our mana with flasks, and more on just targeting the enemies. Plus, technically, it's making us do more damage because we do 30% more increase or whatever damage when we're leeching, so... I think I know that amulet. I think I had that amulet. Or... maybe. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. Probably not. Or maybe you talked about it before? It sounds familiar. So we need to go... the ribbon. Can't go there yet. Oh, that's the plum. Can't go there yet. The Gemline Queen. Okay, so we just have to go to the right then. That's where we just have to go. I wonder why it's so much more now. I'm thinking of, like, there's a part of me that every time I kind of like get quiet, I'm thinking of the Creator Clash fights. Those were so, like, it's been so long since I've watched boxing or anything like that. Yeah, the mana reservation sounds overpowered. We don't have poison anymore. I'm okay with that, in all honesty. I mean, I think the poison stuff, I may very well either try and focus on that later or not at all. I might focus more on elemental-based damage instead of poison. Oh, also, I'm realizing I'm not pressing F2 to empower some enemies. A little bit weak on the empowerment. Looks like we're gonna get half. We can probably get more. We still have a lot of time left. There we go. Is that a first orb of regret? Chaos orbs are seeming a lot more common. I think the reason why that costs 6 Exalt now is because the currency might be a lot more common than it was in the previous leagues, because we're getting, like, I feel like I'm getting so much chaos compared to last league. Because they did say they made changes to the currency drops, right? The drops apparently are supposed to be a little bit less frequent, but a little bit better, from what I'm recalling from the stream. Okay, the Mana Leech definitely helps. It's not the end-all be-all, of course, but it for sure helps. Well, there's no path down here, so technically I should... I mean, there's a path over here. I meant down here. It is definitely strong when you have a large group of enemies that you could pierce through, because it is definitely like every arrow that pierces through an enemy is also giving us leech on our mana, right? The more enemies we have against us, the better. This is another similarity between this build and what was my Cyclone build, right? The more enemies we have against us, the stronger we are, right? Or the better off we are. I wonder if that's going to be the case for most of my builds. I think it's going to be the case for everyone's builds if you really think about it. The more enemies that are in front of you, the better off you'll be. It's, for the most part, bosses that I'm probably going to have the most trouble with. And in all honesty, if I play my cards right, I shouldn't have that much trouble with a good portion of the act bosses, right? What level is this place? $27, and I'm 33. I honestly feel like I'm getting way more experience, too. I recall being, I mean, mind you, it's probably because I died a lot more in my last game than this game. But man, I feel like I'm a much higher level than my last playthrough. Whoops. There's a part of me that's thinking about making a... I mean, mind you, I probably won't need a hybrid flask. I wonder if a hybrid flask, like, hits both mana and health flask, and is not its own associated flask. I definitely should also do something with the totems. I'm thinking about it. I'm placing down a lot of totems. I think even more so than my previous playthrough. So I should probably up my totem abilities. Corrupted Diamond Ring. 4% increase of strength and dexterity. It's a shame that that's a basic one, and it doesn't, like, it's not a highly upgraded one. I need some sort of, like, single enemy skill. Oh, okay, it doesn't activate. Interesting. I was anticipating it being something similar to, like, the armor. I can't remember what the name of that spell was. That's definitely weaker. Explosive arrow skill, do more damage, but have delay to explode. Good for bossing. Explosive arrow. Well, I'll try and keep that in mind. Hopefully explosive arrow will drop. If not, I could always purchase it from somebody. For the time being, this will probably be my boss killer. That works, I think, pretty well. Boss killing. Also, I'm messing up. Let's empower all the enemies that we can. Crap. Oh, I know what the problem is. Idiot. I couldn't move. I was trying, so I was slamming on Q. I was slamming on Q. Could not move. That's our first death all day so far. A little bit annoyed by it. I think I got stun locked. I feel like we're doing much more damage with the leeching effect. Oh, I'm annoyed. Oh, that dude probably didn't help. Also, I didn't drop my totems. I panicked. This is what really killed me. I panicked. If I dropped my totems, I probably would have been in a little bit of a better situation there, right? And if I attacked instead of trying to escape, maybe I would have lived. Because I pressed Q, but I didn't rush out of that area like I wanted to when I opened the thing. When I opened the chest or activated the chest thingy. Whatever it's called, I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head. But yeah, I know I brought this up, but I didn't really go over it some more. I think that's some of the coolest shit ever. The, Creator Clash or whatever it's called. The first Creator Clash that occurred on the 14th, right, of May, right? It's May? Yeah, May 14th. I think it's the coolest thing. It's entertaining, of course, right? But it's the coolest thing ever because they were doing it for charities, right? And the best part about it was they didn't, like, it wasn't a joke thing, it wasn't an act. These individuals came out, and they came out to win, right? So I can't help but give mad props to the individual who partook in the boxing, right? And if they have one, like if it's an annual thing, or if it's every couple of years or something like that, I would definitely watch it every single time. And more than likely, I'll full screen my face cam and watch it, and those who want to watch alongside me can. But I want to try and influence individuals to get tickets on their own to support the charities, because they supported 3 charities. There was one for Alzheimer's. I'm trying to remember the other 2. One of them was an animal one. That was the 3rd charity that was being supported. What was the second one? I can't recall. But all I know it was entertaining. The fights were awesome. Some of them were relatively quick. But in all honesty, in my opinion, there was not a single quote-unquote bad fight of the night. If you ask me my opinion about, like, if I were to compare other quote-unquote high-profile fights, like with a YouTuber or a well-known internet personality going up against somebody else, the first one that comes to mind is the exhibition match between Logan Paul and Money Merriweather, right? Lord Money Merriweather. And that fight, I knew what it was going to be. I got to watch it, and I knew what that was going to be because it's an exhibition match. Exhibition matches are not slugfests like people want, right? They're show matches. However, these weren't exhibition matches. These were matches that were fully, like, sanctioned by the boxing group of Florida, because that's where they took place in. They took place in Florida, and they were as legit as you can get, right? Regulation, boxing glove, like everything to a T. So that was that's what made me the most interested at first.
You are not a cockroach.
The
What is
Gemlin
that?
Queen, I mean. And what are we looking at? I guess.
The cockroaches will come again. I like you. I loved Malachi. I was the Emperor's favorite. Believe me.
Pretty as porcelain, but her mouth spins like the potter's wheel. That's how I once described Diala. Yet on this day, my lady is as ravishing as a nightmare, radiant as the fullest moon. Diala is my Gemling queen, and we shall rule side by side over the world that will soon come to be.
This is a map device.
I awoke, feverish and barely conscious. I set to drawing these maps through the sable hours. By morning, my fingers ached, my eyes burned, yet still I found no rest. The reverie commanded its rendering. The reverie device now stands completed. I've placed the first of my maps within its receptacle.
Yeah.
I've taken my maiden voyage into nightmare. I know now that which sent me this precious gift. It knows me, expects my return. It would be foolish to disappoint. Malachi.
So I'm so glad we're going through some of this and listening to it, because
Tear down the walls that imprison the mind.
this
That is what the gems
is giving us a lot more information than previously, right? Especially now that we know how to map and what mapping is.
Cool, silken
When I first saw this, I'm like, huh, that's weird. Sounds like it goes to another world. Cool. But it didn't click.
Skull ached.
Now it's
Its
clicked.
contents were growing, pressing against the bone, searching for a way to break free. That night, once the wine had dulled the pain enough to allow the onset of sleep, the dreams began. I have not been without them since. Nor would I be.
The thalmic sulfite. I've heard that before from doing our thievery.
The device that I forge, every creature I owe. From whence do these precepts? So, mundane grey between my ears. I possess only one reference that bears faith. Translated with a questionable Savant, Isius Piranus, the beast. Duliani. Soon now, so shall I. Malachi.
That is so interesting that he got, like, he started messing with things. It seems like a lot of these individuals started messing with the virtue gems, and when they started messing with the gems, they started getting visions of these map devices, right? That is so interesting. And maybe it's less visions, maybe it's more memories. I'm thinking about it, and if I remember correctly, when we first talked to Kirak talks about these devices that were here a long time ago, right? Like, a long time ago they were here. And we've apparently been fighting back and forth or something like that. I can't quite recall. Thinking about it, it's kind of insane. Because it's one of those things that, like, no matter what, we're in a situation. Right? Our whole goal has been to either get revenge or take out Piety and Malgaro and all those asshats that basically have caused most, if not all, of the issues that we're currently dealing with, right? Duplicated Sentinel. Also, what the crack? I think I'm gonna have to update the thing, the filter. You're unique. Yeah. And those totems are doing clutch damage. Well, I mean, that's literally can't touch this juice. 188 with 88 evasion. The wax garb might be a decent replacement. Battlefront is not where I want to go. I want to be going Thaumatic Sulfide or whatever I need. Not go. Less going, more getting. Didn't realize that they were toxic. Holy crap. That was kind of a pain in the ass. Three more uses of this device. We can sell a good portion of this stuff. What do we have? We have 27 lightning resistant, 23 cold. This will give us 12 and no, 16. I know the iron ring we can mix with some gems or something like that to get a 2-stone, I think. Flasks we can work on later. Giant. Get a better one. I'll worry about that later. Yeah, we got 6 chaos orbs. Okay. We got one more of these. I kind of want to save these for an upgrade. Honestly. I guess for summon Raging Spirit, even though I'm not using it. Oh, speaking of, I guess, hold on. Do you have gems?
Yes.
Sniper's Mark we could actually utilize. We need to utilize, how does it go? Something support with attacks and stuff like that. Despair, Purity of Elements. Plague Bearer, gain an incubating buff. adding to its plague value as you inflict poisons. Use this skill again to begin infecting, dealing chaos damage over time to nearby enemies until the plague value is depleted. Your damage modifiers don't apply to this skill's damage. Using the skill again alternates between incubating and infecting. Less damage with poisons while incubating, and not at maximum plague value. When you inflict poison while incubating, adds 40% of the expected poison damage to plague value. When infecting, deals chaos damage per second equal to 12% of the plague value when infecting began, and lose plague value at the same rate. Huh.
Be careful.
The Gemling Queen. You've been. Piety's a... Goodbye.
Yes? Maramoa. Hagen likes it. No one should have. The blackguards. Vinny. You find on the fall of the... I know. Chitter's thought. What is it?
Honestly, just need 2 green from this. That'll work. We might go for that, a poison build. I don't know yet, though. No, I didn't want to do that, actually. Shit. A waste of it, but I don't care.
You have thaumatic sulfur dash of alchemy. Goodbye, not a What do you want? It's the most explosive. You may go.
Might as well. Two hits out of 4. Our evasion 50%. %58%. Alright. I like the visual effect of this. We're incubating. I don't think we're poisoning it at all. Interesting that it's doing 3 to 34 lightning, 24 to 46 fire, 38 to 75 chaos, and 2 to 3 cold. Probably because of the amount of additional damage we're doing. Where do we need to go now? I was gonna clear this whole area out, but then I realized that's kind of dumb, in all honesty. So we're just gonna go to the sewers and deal with it this way. There we are. Okay. Love to see it. What do I have for this thing? Volley. Vicious. Not doing chaos damage. So it would honestly be vicious. It would be better to do that somewhere else. Hmm. Well, we need to go through and get stuff set up. I absolutely have loved both my builds so far. Right? There's not a single one where I'm like, oh, I'm just pleased with this. I'm gonna redo my build or whatever. I also am pretty sure that things are weighted in a certain way, right? Like, we're gonna come across more ranged-based gems than physical-based gems. Also, we might not see our physical-based gems as often. Like, we might not see a cyclone here or a cyclone there because of the filter we currently have active. I do need to update it at some point, I believe.
God gave this world to man, not to you, little girl.
Oh, weird. It does work like that. I don't know what to think about that. I'm focus mode right now because this is actually an intense fight. Holy shit.
Where will your journey end, exile?
It won't. Ooh, that was intense. $14 to $56. I mean, 20% increased physical damage. What level is it? Alt. Fuck. Item level 15. Compared to item level 29. This would technically be better. Increase elemental damage with attack skills. I mean, honestly, that's better. What does this do? More spell damage? $29. I think I have some things to upgrade that, honestly. We'll see, though. Been using this bow for a while. Getting an upgrade like that would definitely be a pretty high priority. Let's see if we can utilize that to our advantage, though. before we go any further, because I also want to switch out this for something else. What does this do? 60% increase of quantity found. More charge and okay. Weapon reward and more charge it gave me. I was hoping for the increase of quantity, but whatever. Might as well, right? We'll get an Apex.
You are the truth.
Maybe Scourge Arrow. Charge to dash. I like Blast Rain, maybe.
Talakoda. Greetings, citizens of the... They're still praying. Why are you still standing there?
Despite the Eternals revered, tread carefully, exile.
We already have that essence. Cold damage added. Dexterity. Lightning damage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I didn't even... F2, F4. There. Hold on. I don't know. I guess we'll just stick with it. We can have both of them activated at the same time, it looks like. Okay. I kind of like that. Because that's some enemies, huh? Definitely liking the empowerment. The empowerment stuff is really cool. Nice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is doing it for me. So much more damage. A little bit of extra cold as well. See it. Love to see it. This is a pretty long act. Yeah, definitely a good decision to upgrade this bow like I did. Oh, we'll be able to deal with that later. So those go away as soon as you die. That's good to know. A little bit aggravated on that one. I did the same thing I did last time. I needed to... Like, I got... As soon as you get panicky, man. Just press W. W to win. Alright? That would have helped me a little bit. Probably still would have died. but it definitely would have helped me ever so slightly. And I got a damn upgrade on my bow that's doing a significant amount of more damage, you know? Just a significant amount of damage increased compared to what I was previously doing. We are gonna get a level up. For sure. I went a big ass circle there. More attack stuff. Feeling good. Feeling oh so good here. Oh, right up there. I was very confused for a moment because I'm like, where the hell do I need to go? Well, there's a little spot up in the upper right-hand corner that I was missing, right? So now we're not going to be missing that. Oh, I know, again, I keep jumping back and forth to this, but one of the things I wanted to bring up, one of the main reasons I haven't brought it up a lot is because I just, for the life of me, I know who fought, but I cannot, like, off the top of my head, remember some of their names. Yodeling, Haley, and Just a Minx. That was a pretty tense fight. They were going at each other. Darren Hansen, Ego Raptor, and Harley from Epic Meal Time. They went at each other. A couple of individuals that I don't quite recall. Michael Reeves, and there's a video that Michael released a little while ago that revolved around him doing something with the stock market and his goldfish, and he went to somebody who's does a lot of like financial advice and stock market videos. Those two were boxing with each other, or against each other, I should say, not with each other. That was a pretty good one. I'm not going to tell you what the results were. If you want that, you gotta go find the footage yourself or whatever. At first, I had been rooting for Aaron. Right? I didn't really mind too much who won, as long as the fights were good, clean, entertaining, you know? But of course, I had a part of me that was rooting for Aaron, and then Harley come out, talking about being the sauce boss with an eye patch, a cigar, and the man who burned the world music from Metal Gear Solid 5. And I was like, well, now I'm rooting for both of them. You know, you tickle my Metal Gear Solid nostalgia, and you automatically earn some points in my book. There were some good fights. A couple of them went the distance, which means the entire 5 rounds, 2 minutes each. And some people might be immediately thinking, 5 rounds, 2 minutes only, that's it? That's 10 minutes of fighting. Fighting is a endurance sport, right? You try and fight somebody for 10 minutes, 5 rounds, 2 minutes a pop, you know? Bet you'll be like, holy shit, this is... Ooh, this is rough. Right? I will say, there's a potential that one of the fighters could be going up against the two-time Dr. Disrespect. And that is a fight that I would want to see the fight between the individual who called out Dr. Disrespect and, well, Dr. Disrespect. That'd be a hell of a brawl. But yeah, like I said prior, way more entertaining.
I have pursued a greater existence for us all. What have you ever done but serve yourself?
Okay, nice. That chaos damage did wonders against Piety. What does she want to do now? Oh. I'm being lazy. Let's go turn some of these in and go from there. Really? I thought they were disassociated. Hold on. Oh, no, yeah. Well, no, I mean, this tells me right there. Toxic Rain. Dealing damage to enemies that they hit, right? Spore pods they land. Each spore pod causes chaos, like, deals chaos on more time. I didn't quite realize that. Oh shit, then we're definitely doing a poison build. Physical damage is converted to chaos damage. Yeah, okay, we're definitely doing a poison build then.
Piety's off to meet the mate. Stay out of the shadow. You've done for Grievous. Don't do anything I would.
You have claimed the moment. Be well.
Wherever he is. Vanille was. Gravisius dined with him. Be careful.
I don't know
Piety
why
died.
that hasn't clicked for me.
Unfortunate. When? Goodbye.
I'm still gonna focus on getting up to here, right? I want to get over to here. At the very least. I don't know where we're gonna go from there. Appreciate the information drops, of course. Apex upgrades uniques? Rare or unique? Okay, got it. Yeah, that makes so much sense now that I'm looking at it. It's the green poison effect.
God gave this world to man, not to you, little girl. I fought for God. Who do you fight for next?
Okay. Could have empowered that dude, but we're learning. Okay, so what was I doing? Going up this way. At least I think this is where we're supposed to go. You're not using the Plague Bearer skill, it's not stacking. No, I know, I'm currently doing the incubating. Right? I click it again and that's when it infects. Or does it have to be linked? Or did I have it right? This isn't right. No, it's not. Like, wait a minute. I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is the Lunaris Temple, not the Gardens or whatever it's called. I need to... I'll get poison eventually. Oh, it won't let me go out the back of the tent. Alright. Good to know. Alright. Gotta go at a different angle. Or a different area, of course. Only effects on poison damage over time. Okay. I still like the idea of the poison build. We'll see how it plays out for us. I'm gonna focus on the damage stuff now, and then I'll do a path of building thing. Probably after I wrap up for today, and then just look into what exactly I want for some skills, you know? I'll worry about it later, though. For now, we're just gonna have a fun time obliterating the enemies in front of us, like so, and then going from there. I don't know if I'm gonna finish multiple acts today like I did yesterday. I might just finish this act and move on to the next one and call it there. because I am getting pretty tired. I got pretty excited, pretty hyped up. I got basically an adrenaline rush. And here's the thing. When you get an adrenaline rush, or you get hyped up or excited, and when you start to come down from that adrenaline rush, it becomes one of those situations where you get more tired than you would normally get, right? And the fights that I was watching on the Creator Clash got me hyped up on a couple of... Like, there was actually a couple of stages where I was nibbling on my nails a little bit. And it has been quite a long time since I started to bite my nails. And I mean, I was able to stop myself from actually biting into them, but I was like starting to do that because it's like a tick of mine. Not really. I don't want to call it a nervous tick, but like a I guess a nervous tick. Even though it wasn't nervous, but I was all hyped up. That and shaking my leg like I currently am. Because there's still a part of me that's thinking about some of those fights, and I'm definitely gonna rewatch that event for sure. If I'm capable of watching it within this 24-hour period or whatever, 48-hour period or whatever they said, I might watch it a couple of times. Definitely gonna do one watch through off stream, right? Because that was the like. It's been a long time since I sat down and watched boxing, UFC, or WWE, or anything like that, or in that vein. Now, but yeah, it was brought me back to memories, you know. Like, oh, I can't recall half the damn fighters' names that I've watched in the past. It's been so long. Probably over 10 years since I like sat down and actually watched it, you know. So if we empower one enemy, we can't empower another. Alright, so I should have... Okay, we got the empowerment that I wanted to get. Oh shit. Yeah, I'll need to try and keep that in mind for the future. Thank you for bringing that up. That is actually a really good idea. Empower the boss for extra loots. That's something that I should have thought of, but I'm still in the experiment phase, just do random stuff, get a feel for utilizing the Sentinels. Now I need to start using the Sentinels in a efficient manner, right? I almost do want to have my second character be a melee build, because I just can't help myself. I love melee. I love being able to just bash in the face of anything that comes across my way, you know? Whether or not I do Cyclone, I'm doubtful of that, though. I can't wait to see what empowerment's gonna be like on maps. Is this the plum? Locked door. Deal with that later. I need to get the thing right. There's something I wanted to do, but I don't remember what it was. Totally slipped my mind. Oh well. Yeah, totally slipped my mind.
A leader cannot simply stride forward into the future and expect his people to be able to follow. A leader must look over his shoulder so that he can witness and understand the consequences of the path he has chosen. Remember, to ensure that his cycles are still moving, to ensure that he has not become lost.
Almost forgot about that trial of ascendancy. Got one more and then we could get our ascendancy perk. Hell yeah. Cannot wait to see what ascendancy we're gonna go for. I'll have to... I'm not gonna like look into what the best one is for the type of build that I'm going for. I'm gonna like do what I did last time. Cause I do like using Path of Building, but at this stage I'm probably gonna have like a mentally established build. I'm still like on the fence a bit. I want to be able to go, okay, this is exactly what I want my build to be like, and then I'll do Path of Building in depth and detail. Right? But I'm probably gonna go for stuff that gives us technically the most damage. Right? Kind of like how I did with my Cyclone Berserk build. That build was on the way to getting to 1,000,000 damage, in all honesty. Especially, like, with the Anointment ability. If I could get an axe, if I could have gotten an axe, like a good one, a 6-link axe, oh, that would have been clutch, realistically. Like, for this bow. Hell, it's kind of funny because technically until I was like on my last 3 days of Path of Exile for the Arch Nemesis League, I still wasn't like 100% sure what I wanted to focus on. Swords, axes, what have you. Axes definitely would have been, like, if I knew, I would have done the focus on that, for sure. At least with this build, I know exactly what I'm looking for, what I'm going for. This seems like you could use rank, like archery type stuff, or you can go with daggers or claws. A claw build, maybe even shield and claw. A shield claw setup might be pretty interesting. Evasion, block damage, and other stuff. Is the library associated? No, it's not. I need that damn thing. The leg was itchy. But yeah, this build I'm liking. I definitely want a travel skill that allows me to get a little bit more distance, maybe? I don't know. Well, let's check out the library, I suppose. I know this isn't exactly where I need to be going, because if I would have pressed this and then look at this, it's back there, so whatever. What was the quest associated with this place? I don't remember. Also, I'm not doing my F2. Should be empowering enemies. Ooh. Oh, it's already been empowered. Shit. Can't. Didn't realize that that's what the boss was. Oh well. Oh, we got frozen. That's not fun. I mean, we still empowered the boss or the unique, but I'm pretty sure the Apex will empower it in a better, like a more efficient way.
Please, do not be alarmed. I am neither monster nor murderer, though that is the duality of existence that defines San these days. My name is Yosafuanga, and I have the bleak honor of being the sole scholar to the Imperious Intellection, this grand repository of knowledge you see about you.
This person's new.
May reason
to me.
preserve us.
Okay.
In more mundane circumstances, it would be preposterous to ask this of you, an utter stranger, but given that I don't know in which century I might see another pair of flesh and bone hands, there's a door, you see, concealed behind the shelves. It leads into the archives. That's where Isius Perandus concealed his golden pages. Can you see how maddening that would be for me? No, of course you can't. Ridiculous of me to... Suffice to say that they are beyond my reach. 4 Varlish texts they are, of priceless historical insight. Please, find my friend's golden pages and bring them to me. You will be rewarded.
Okay, we'll
Let's speak again soon.
deal with that later. Is this... Wait, this might be an area that's new. I can't remember how to do things. Library. I don't know, library might be new, whatever. Talk to him later. New lore. Basically, that's going to take up extra time because new lore. Right? I don't remember ever talking to him or anything like that. Hello there. So yeah, I'm surprised we haven't found this damn peach yet. There it is. Plum, not peach. Now that we've done that, we could just go right back to Chittas, not Chittas, what their name is? Fairgraves. Right. have to go to the library after we deal with Failgraves, because I want to do that quest, honestly. Scepter of God is the main. Worry about that one later.
Look at the sheep. A tooth! Oh.
You just die, or you also summon an enemy? Yeah, you just die. Alright, so, really fast.
It's so good to have someone to... It is the Karwi way to observe nature in nature. The fish without the sea is no longer a fish. It is dinner. The Eternals did not see it that way. An Eternal catches the fish, guts the fish, preserves the fish, and places it in a box. Only then does the Eternal feel he truly understands the fish.
Ah, one must understand the fish before they can be the fish.
It was a Karwi Motiata that discarded my failing body of flesh in favor of canvas and oil. An ancient song and a momentary lapse in judgment that I've had more than enough time to regret.
Interesting. So,
fortune favor you.
They bound themselves to the painting through a Karwi spell. Okay. Also, the more that I look at this area, the more that I don't recognize this, so I think this is one of the new places. Right? Because there were a couple of maps that got taken out of this league, from last league, and replaced with other ones. Slave of Virtue. Oh. Slave of Virtue, another shipment of human picks and shovels bound for Highgate and the Mites mostly. Care of Darius Asatari's civilization camps. A few darkskins here and there. Kari and Marketh. Malachi has had his wicked way with them all. Limbs are stretched, contorted, double and triple jointed, all the better to pluck gems from the cracks and fissures of their home and tomb to be. They squint and cower in the sun, their eyeballs injected with gloom so that they might see in the subterranean night, as they would in their warm homeland day. The shackled slaves shuffle north as the gems they mine tumble south, a glittering landside of power and privilege of the fairest of our eternal citizens. Civilization is bought and paid for with the flesh and blood of the primitive. It is a debt that will one day need to be repaid. Ario Sarn. Nice. The Fall. The Fall, thousands of years in the making, gone in a blink of Solaris' burning eyes. The Asmari tell of the Valish immigration with equal measure of pity and horror. Small bands of tattered, shambling survivors, bereft of their families, their wealth, and in many cases their sanity. They were welcomed and cared for, but none could give the Asmari the one thing they sought in return. None could tell them how the Vol realm came to such a sudden and catastrophic end. An apocalypse that came to be known as the Fall. The number 3126 is forever burned into Asmarian history. 3,126, the number of Vol refugees who came to live with and eventually become absorbed into the Asmarian people. 3,126 survivors from civilization, counting its millions. I wonder if what ended up happening, realistically, was the fact that the Asmari, were like a different realm or something like that, and they brought the map devices with them when they accidentally teleported themselves through to our world, our realm, right? Because I'm thinking about it, and like, they have things we don't understand to this day in this game's like, if I'm speaking as if I was a citizen of Grey Class, right? Let's just bear with me here, right? They have technology that we ourselves still don't understand, right? And are trying to understand. It seems like the individuals in question somehow warped themselves to this realm, and maybe that their world isn't actually gone, but the apocalypse was them just being transported out of it. I'm just spitballing here. Could be completely mistaken. All right. Now I'm going to be saving the Apex for, the Apex thing for the... What I'm assuming is going to be the unique as soon as we come across them, if I remember. I love how we're at that stage where I can, like, I don't have to think too hard. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't have to think too hard exactly about doing this. I can just kind of do it. I'm tempted to go through down the totem path, you know what I mean? Gain damage. We're gonna start getting for the projectile mastery. That's what we're gonna start going down right now. Right now. Sosa, your slavery will cause them to overlook you. Far way will guide you. Humanity will shame us all. Huh. Might as well, since we're pretty close to this one. Ah, we can't because it's blocked off. Got it. Never mind. Gotta go in a big-ass circle, it looks like. Understandable. I have a feeling I'm gonna be fighting. Oh, that's the unique. Definitely better idea to hit that the unique with the apex, and everybody else gets hit with the basic. What does the middling one do, I wonder? A waking nightmare, madness of the mind, or madness of the flesh. Interesting. Pop that one. So we have the, what do we have? We have the Stalker, Apex, Pandemonium. Looks like we're going to be able to hit... Well, I hope we'll be able to hit all of them. The Vol were even more steeped in gem culture than our Emperor and his gemlings. It's an obsession as old as civilization itself. I do like the idea that in order to increase the power level of our Sentinel controller, we have to kill empowered individuals. That is a very amusing concept in my mind. Everything revolves around killing enemies for experience. I didn't read what that one said. A communion, but with what? By all accounts, wasn't God that the Vol were trying to reach. No, it was probably something like the Maven or something like that. Am I right? Was my little spitball guesstimate right in... Okay. Makes sense that achievements wouldn't roll over. Challenges do. And what I mean when I'm saying roll over, I mean like refresh, what have you. $38, 17% of the way to 39. This area I kind of want to go through, and I love how I cleared out that entire area. Anyways, this area I kind of have to go through to get the rest of the lore about the Vol and all this stuff. Probably have to, before talking to this dude. The Red Sakema's saddle. In return for her military support in the rebellion, Baal promised Sakema Deshret return of the Mariketh Grazy lands stolen during the Imperial conquest of the Vistari Plains. The Red Sakema agreed on one condition, that she might have Hector Titicus' skin with which to fashion a Roa saddle. To this end, Val and Deshret engineered a trap for General Titicus and his Vistari Legion. Mariketh had long been able to predict the comings and goings of the vast and vicious desert dust storms that constantly plagued the plains. Deshret located one such fledgling maelstrom within a day's march of Titicus' camp. For his part, Vol identified a number of Imperial spies amongst the Mariketh and fed them false information regarding a potential tribal uprising. Taking the bait, Titicus had his Gemline Legion surround the supplied location, thus placing himself squarely in the path of Deshret's dust storm. On the 3rd Galvano of Vitali 1333, IC, the tempest descended upon Titicus' legion with blinding, deafening ferocity. Deshret's Akara, born and raised in dust and wind, swept through the legion, harvesting it like a field of ripe corn. Once storm and Mariketh fury had abated, the Vistari Legion existed only as a multitude of dust-cloaked mounds. The Red Sakema claimed her prize, and it is said that there is no more comfortable saddle in all of Vistari than Deshret's. Damn. Interesting. We're missing a couple of books, and I wonder where those books are. Maybe he has them with him? Oh, well, now let's complete this quest and go from there.
By the ancestors, it's good to see fresh words in front of me. Now, my translation skills are not what Isius were. I can achieve a meager paraphrase at best. But a little knowledge is better than none, is it not? Let us begin.
Not in the case when you're messing with stuff that could potentially fucking...
This tapestry of truth is a threadbare
bring
cloth
about
indeed.
death, doom, and destruction.
But at least you have allowed me to begin the first few stitches in its restoration, and to settle the memory of a dear friend. In return, allow me to give you this, a little practical wisdom to improve your lot.
Frenzy charges. Ice Bite support.
My word. Valish contextualized syntax is a slippery eel indeed. Let me see if I can grab it by the gills. They carried their virtue gems to Doriani's bed. No, that's not quite right. Ah, yes. Doriani's cradle. The historian finishes that it was a price they needed to pay to ensure a Valish future. A cradle of virtue gems? What sort of Valish future did Doriani hope to ensure? Splendid. Let's see what this page has to offer us. It talks of Queen Atsiri. Now, here's a portentous line. She drenches her altars with the blood of those deranged enough to question her vision. The next piece is a real eye-crosser, but I believe it refers to a communion. Something to do with the harvest moon?
Left bottom side. Thank you for that information, Roddy.
Doriani seems at the heart of it. Good. This line I can read without issue. This will be our final night of fear, our final night of suffering. Sacrifice, communion, the harvest moon. An unsettling combination.
Interesting.
Oh my. This first line is frighteningly clear. Our queen is dead. Doriani is dead. So many have fallen. So many have changed.
Oh,
The text is almost indecipherable.
Interesting.
It practically hums with agitation. Let me see. I can make out the words.
So this had to do the fall of the
nightmare and
fall people
beast
had to do with the
whatever that may be.
slumbering of the beast, I guess.
Our historian finishes with, "We have succeeded where our forebears did not. We have failed ourselves." I need not imagine the fall of the Val. I saw the nightmare with my own eyes. Strange. I was put in charge of dating the most antiquated of texts. This parchment, it's a remarkable copy, but it's no original. Much younger. Oh my. Listen to this. My dearest Isius, I have been enlightened beyond expectation. Your work in translating these artifacts is worthy of the highest recompense, and thus I am delighted to offer you a position in my personal laboratory. Please do not give your escorts any consternation. I would be most pained to see such a precious asset damaged in any way. I very much look forward to working with you. Isius Perandus, your friend and admirer, Malachi.
Poor bastard got tricked by Malachi.
Poor Isius. Wherever you went, my pity goes with you.
I think I already found that switch to get to the next area, right?
I suppose every civilization has its Doriani, its Malachi, men of divine talent and demented ambition. Without them, history would be a far less interesting place.
I suppose.
How Malachi
Depending on your
survived
definition of
the
interesting.
Purity Rebellion, I don't know. He was at Emperor Vol's side before Chich's corpse was even cold. I suppose Vol found him as difficult to refuse as Isius did. Malachi would never have risen so far without the patronage of an emperor like Chitis. It would appear that Doriani and Queen Atsiri shared a similar relationship. It was said of the beautiful Atsiri that she wished to see her likeness reflected in the still waters of history. Chitis was no less self-impressed. Of all the sins, vanity is the most hideous.
We think this song is about don't you, you're so vain.
Sun fell in the course of an hour, no more. A tempest raged down from the mountains and engulfed the city, throwing it into midday darkness. I saw madness in my colleagues' eyes, watched as the most rational men in the Empire jabbered and slavered and slaughtered each other. I witnessed Trinian, our gemling intellectus prime, engulfed by the radiance of his flaming cranial gem, and wither like a grape in the sun into a thing of desiccation and famishment. I've seen mountains spew fire in Ngamakanui. I've seen waves as tall as trees and winds that leveled warriors and walls alike. Nature is what nature is. There was nothing natural about the cataclysm.
Oh. Huh. Okay, I'll remember you.
Go with care, friend.
Dead. Left bottom. Yeah, this one over here. Pretty sure I already hit, right? Unless there's another one you're talking about. Another little lever that we can pull. Because this one allows us to go down below. But there were no books down there. Unless... Oh, that's the only one. Okay, got it. Okay, good to know. That was new lore. Right? That was lore that we didn't have access to previously. Or I somehow managed to completely look this over. Right? I mean... Library is literally where we just came from, right? Yeah. And it sucks that I'm not coming across as many as I was... There we are. As many enemies as I was hoping for, but it looks like we are going to be able to empower everybody. Should press E, not W. Yeah, whatever. Probably should go down here to make sure we get all the empowered enemies first. Because that's what the only reason I was really doing this was to get the empowered enemies and then move on. Get as much experience as possible for the Sentinel controller and then move on from there. Okay, there we go. It's been a while since we've done a... Oh, I can empower it still. Anyways. It's been a while while since we've done a 7-hour. Last time we did a 6-hour. Lately I've been doing like 2-hour streams because of how busy I've been. Malachi, Colonel Empire, the Father of Dreams. Shoot. Guess you almost got themselves killed. That's right. Me. Literally just need to enhance 3 more. No more. We need to enhance no more. So those individuals are definitely going to be the most dangerous against us. The ones that have the bubbles of protection. But we can only damage them when we're inside their bubble. Those individuals are going to be the worst. Almost died there a couple of times, I think. I recognize where I'm at. I've done this... Maybe. I kind of second-guessed myself there for a second. I actually... It looks similar to that map, but maybe it's not exactly that one. No, it's that map. Yep. I'm almost getting to that point to where I won't have to tab anymore. Gotta look forward to that. Like this one, I didn't have to tab on at all, in all honesty, because of how many times I did it. Is this technically a new area? No, it is not. Sentinel controller now has 15 power! Pog! Okay. I should probably try and utilize these. I've kind of been neglecting them. I should figure out a way how to utilize Ice Bite. Hold on, is there any weapon with a green? I need a weapon with a green. There we go, this'll work. Oh, what? Let's identify it. I can't equip it because it needs 61 int. Fuck. At least so we can level this up until we can utilize it later down the line. That's why I have that set up. Okay. Now we need to find the Scepter of Gold. That was another one of those moments that was pretty damn close. Yeah, this is taking us up because we didn't have access to it. There we go. No, not a new area. That was a unique enemy that we killed. We probably could have saved it for the boss, but... whatever. I feel like the unique enemies are a little bit more... oh, man. That's a new area. For sure. I don't want to go through this entire area and see if we can't get ourselves a level up. I highly doubt we'll be able to. Plus, oh hey, look at this. A waypoint.
My dear Tritus, the Empire has lived in fear and ignorance since its inception. Our Asmiri ancestors, their allies, turned their backs on the lessons of the Var. The Emperor's before lacked cash, vision, paying lip service to eternity, while scrabbling for approval and comfort within the prison of their meager not one of those emperors. You are Chitus, the man who made this empire truly understand the meaning of the word eternal. We shall build this thaumatocracy together, gem by gem, immortal by immortal. Your devoted servant, Malachi.
What a very charismatic individual. This is a completely new area. Yep. This is where we're gonna save boss. Boss. There we go. The Sentinels are definitely awesome because of the amount of currency items we're getting now. I feel like we're getting so many more. That is probably why some things are going to be way more expensive than they previously were, because it's easier to get the items. And if it's easier to get the money, then they're going to increase the prices of things. Or that's what people are apt to do. Right? There are some things that are probably still going to be the same exact price. But if it's like way easier to get exalts, then it kind of it technically doesn't actually increase the value of the item itself, right? So it might be like, what do you mean? It used to cost 50 chaos, now it costs 9 exalts. Well, if it's easier to get chaos, which I'm pretty sure it is, and it's easier to get exalts, technically, you're not really getting that, you know what I mean? What was I saying? Lost my train of thought. You're not, like, it's, if you're getting the more exalt, right? Like, if I'm getting an exalt before I start mapping, then it becomes one of those situations where, yeah, no, it's easier to get them. They're more plentiful. If currency items are more plentiful, that means it will be easier to buy certain things. So, that, and plus, if an item's overpowered, people are going to look at that and be like, no, I'm doing this. And plus, if I'm not mistaken, the way that the currency thing works, how you can, like, estimate, get the value of stuff, is it's valued at that on what people are selling it for, right? So if nobody buys it for 9 exalts, then the value of it's going to go down, right? Supply and demand type of situation. Or if more people come across it, no one's going to buy it, or what have you. There's a level up I was looking for. High critical strike chance, I suppose, considering we have precision. And precision is going to allow us to have more criticals, right? So we're going to stack our crit chance a little bit here and go from there, yeah? Yas, queen. It's kind of funny how maps are just condensed versions of story mode things, right? We are making some good progress, I believe.
It is woman's purpose to tempt and try the will of man.
Wow.
Heretic!
Have you ever seen the true face of God in exile?
This is gonna be a little rough fight. I'm like, focus shit. I cannot wait until I'm obliterating you, just like I was when I was mapping Dominus.
This world is an illusion, exile.
Nice. Only one death this time. Hell yes.
You have mounted the summit, of course.
Feels so good. Well, we finished this act. 3.5, 4 hours it took us. I want to get to the next point. The next point being the city, whatever it's called. That's my wrap up point. Absolutely hilarious how just this might be a more satisfying feeling. No, it's not. I was gonna try and say this might be more satisfying in my mind than my blender build was. What's satisfying about this build is we're able to eliminate so many enemies off screen, right? We're just like, oh, I killed how many enemies? Right? That's pretty cool, pretty satisfying, right? What's so satisfying about the blender build, Cyclone, Marauder, was the fact that if they were anywhere near me, we just blended them up. We see a rare enemy or a unique or something like that, I'll pop my F4. I mean, I technically popped my F4 a little bit earlier than I intended to. Hopefully I'll be able to come across the enemy before you lose it. There we go. Hell, that's pretty good. I mean, the 7 life gained is neat, but I like the piercing. I mean, maybe we can do away with the piercing. Hell, looks like we're about to get another level up. That's kind of crazy. I might do hardcore next character. We'll see though. I would assume that it would be closer up there because the unique enemy was up there, you know? Yeah, it'd have to be past that point, because technically it's one of those, like, oh, you gotta fight the boss. I mean, we can go over here, but it's just gonna be blocked off. I mean... Thinking about it, I kind of want to go down there and fight that other group now, too. Never mind. Never mind. Well, we went from almost, I don't even know what to say, 39%. I mean, not level 39, not 39%. What is 33? I mean, we're catching up pretty fast. But yeah, this is, we're about to be wrapping up. So I'm gonna do a little friendly reminder before I do my ending spiel to make sure you utilize the links down in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Exclamation point, links in the chat if you're watching on Twitch, be it the highlight or live, lurking, what have you, right? Level 35 full leather, I think I want to try and get my hold of, you know? I mean, we're losing fire damage. We're gaining physical, though. I think that's better. Oh, shit. Well, I'm getting some lag spikes in the game, it looks like. So it is a good wrap-up point, it seems. If I get another level before we actually get to that point, I would be very amused. But I think it's like really right around the corner. Tomorrow should be more akin to what I would normally do, which is edit for a couple of hours. Then we're probably going to play some Enlisted. Ah. Okay, there we are. Alright. Nice, we cleared out this area. Got ourselves close to another level. Hype. Let's mess around a little bit before we do the wrap-up stuff, and... see if we can't get this decked out fully, you know? One red? Two more uses for that before it's emptied. First things first. Increase the quality. We have no energy shield from this. Right? $35 versus 28. Yeah, we're gonna keep this one over the other. I just need 2 green, 1 red. That'll work perfectly. And then we need to... not fragments, essences. Cold resist? Avoid being shocked. Avoid lightning damage. Dexterity. Cold resist. Maybe we could give ourselves energy shield. Reflex physical. Bleed, flask, and stun. Bleed, flask, and I'll get that flask eventually, or set those flasks up to do that eventually. Cold and lightning resistance. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty. If I compare it, just let's do a quick little compare and contrast, shall we? We're currently at 50% chance to evade attacks with an evasion rating of 1,151. Right? 50-49, 9 from fire resist. What does it do like this? 22% estimated chance to evade. Mind you, this is with... No, that's... Mind you, this is also with precision and grace technically turned off. So... that's insane to me. Awesome. Awesome possum. I'll take it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That is a hell of an upgrade. I need to get gloves and boots and a hat, a helmet. Those are like the 3 things I need to upgrade. Probably some rings and a new necklace. Hold on a second. Blast rain. Chance to bleed. Blast rain. We need more strength for chance to bleed. And then this is ice bites. What is blast rain? Blast rain. Okay. Okay. I'm pleased with how things are going. Thinking about it, I am liking how our perks are going. There's not much I can think to change. I'm definitely going to use Path of Building off stream probably just to mess with my build a little bit while I'm chilling and like have somebody else in the background. or I have a YouTube video playing or something like that. This game is really fun. And I'm probably going to end up playing this intermittently between this game and possibly Front Mission 4 or something like that. Like, what I'm probably going to do is Monday, I'm probably going to start the stream with playing Front Mission 4, finish that up, right? And then to end stream, I'll play Path of Exile, which it'll be Front Mission 4 for 4 hours till like 10, 2 hours of Apex Legends or Enlisted, and then I'll be playing this game for about 4 hours or so. As long as like I'm not busy, I don't have to do anything the next day or what have you. And then this will be the end stream game for the most part, unless I feel like playing Enlisted or something like that. Tomorrow, for the most part, I'll probably be playing... What's the name of that game? Stream Raiders, alongside whatever game I play after I do some, or alongside me editing and stuff like that, as long as nothing else pops up. The only reason I didn't edit today was primarily because of the fact that I wanted to watch the damn fights, you know? I got hyped up, it was a charity thing. These were some people that I've watched the content of, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to watch these people fucking box each other, you know? If they're actually gonna box, and then I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, they're actually like this, they've trained for it. It's actually sanctioned. Like, this isn't gonna be exhibition after exhibition match. This is gonna be like pop, pop, pow, and it was very satisfying to watch. I'll probably have more to say about it tomorrow after I watch it. Probably again tonight, and then watch it again tomorrow with my old man. Because me and him, we like watching fights, so I'll probably do the thing, watch it with him. Anyways, to wrap up the video and end the stream. So for those of you that are currently watching on YouTube, I do thank you for stopping by, and I do hope you enjoyed your stay at the Kingdom. If you have and are new here, be sure to become a citizen today via subscribing to this channel as well as my main channel. Links will be down in the description below through all my links and streamer links, where you can catch me on all of my associated sites, be it Twitch, where you can follow me over there and catch me when I go live at 6 p.m. EST every single day. Community Discord, where you can always get the most accurate notifications when I do go live, or if something's going to come up and what have you. Twitter. A couple of survey sites, some referral links to some survey sites that I utilize, and a couple of other sites I'm associated with, if you do so desire to look into them, have you. For those of you that are watching the Twitch highlight, exclamation point links in the chat, utilize those to get access to everything else I just previously mentioned. And until next time, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.